In large-scale software engineering, the environment around the work shapes the work. Delivery teams operate under tight timelines, complex systems, and continuous change. Execution quality becomes linked to conditions that are easy to overlook until they drift. Stability of teams across releases, clarity of ownership, and whether issues get raised early enough to be solved before they become incidents. Workplace recognition becomes a useful signal beyond employer branding. Ascendion, a leader in AI-powered software engineering, has been recognized in several third-party workplace and industry contexts. The pattern matters because the recognitions span two different questions that enterprises and candidates tend to ask. Is the work sustainable at scale? And does the engineering organization deliver AI programs beyond pilots? A few recent recognitions give a clearer picture of how Ascendion is being assessed from the outside. Regarding the workplace, Ascendion is recognized as a great place to work in India, 3 years in a row, and the Philippines, 3 years in a row. They have appeared on Great Place to Work India's Health and Wellness list across multiple cycles, including India's Best Workplaces in Health and Wellness 2024, awarded March 25, 2025, and India's Best Workplaces in Health and Wellness 2023. Recently, on the industry side, Ascendion received Gold for Artificial Intelligence Service Provider of the Year in the 2025 Globee Awards for Artificial Intelligence, was recognized by ISG as a global leader in generative AI services for 2 consecutive years, and named a market leader in the 2025 HFS Horizons Generative Enterprise Services Report. These recognitions sit in different categories, but they tend to converge in day-to-day delivery. AI engineering puts more pressure on how teams learn new workflows, apply governance, validate quality, and maintain shipping rhythm. Workplace health and industry capability become linked through the same question: whether teams can sustain execution as the work accelerates. Workplace recognition in health and wellness categories typically reflects employee feedback and organizational practices focused on physical and mental well-being. In engineering environments, those conditions often correlate with day-to-day patterns that delivery teams recognize over time. Teams operating in steadier environments tend to experience more continuity across release cycles, earlier visibility into delivery risks, fewer quality swings caused by overload or churn, stronger shared understanding of systems as context accumulates. Distributed engineering adds another layer. Multi-time zone delivery asks more from coordination, handoffs, and documentation discipline. When those fundamentals weaken, velocity may look fine for a sprint and then collapse under rework. Generative AI services expanded quickly. Awards and analyst recognitions do not verify every program, yet they can act as a shorthand for external evaluation, especially when buyers lack time to audit delivery maturity across vendors. In that context, these recognitions function as a visible market marker tied to AI services and point toward a second kind of marker: an analyst lens that tends to focus on enterprise applicability and repeatability. For engineering leaders, the underlying question often comes down to operational details. Can AI-assisted development live inside established SDLC controls? Can teams prove what changed, why it changed, and how it was tested? Can productivity gains be captured without creating a new class of defects and compliance risks? External recognitions become relevant when they reflect evaluation criteria aligned to those realities. Arun Varadarajan, Ascendion's Chief Commercial Officer, sees how these recognitions influence client conversations. In enterprise AI conversations, recognitions don't make the decisions, but they sometimes help frame the first question. Can this partner sustain execution once AI moves into production? Clients care far more about how AI operates inside real SDLC controls, governance models, and delivery pressure than about pilots or announcements. When external evaluations reflect both delivery capability and organizational stability, it reinforces confidence that execution will hold as complexity increases. In practice, workplace and market recognition serve two audiences. For candidates, workplace recognitions, along with Ascendion reviews, can act as an initial filter, especially in a job market where fast-paced becomes a catch-all label that sometimes signals burnout risk. A health and wellness recognition category places the conversation closer to sustainability and support structures, which tend to matter more over time than office perks. For enterprise buyers, AI market recognitions can offer a snapshot of perceived execution readiness, particularly when internal stakeholders are trying to align around vendor shortlists. When AI programs shift from prototypes into production operations, the cost of misalignment increases. Third-party validation can reduce perceived risk enough to earn a deeper look. None of these recognitions replace direct evaluation. They do help explain the criteria being applied to AI engineering organizations right now: sustained performance, delivery discipline, and operating environments that hold up under continuous change.